Hey, what's up guys? I'm Pan, the organizer, and welcome to the Fab Automotive Detailing channel. I'm here in the DIY Detail Studios, and Brian's about to learn how to use a rotary polisher to do some paint correction. Let's do it.
All right, you guys, so I have Yvan here from DIY Detail, and he is gonna show me how to use a rotary polisher. I have used one in the past at my house, not very good with it. It's kind of intimidating because all the myths, like he said, are out there about using a rotary. Now, you do it opposite of everybody else. You actually cut with a DA,
right,
and you finish with a rotary. Can you explain why you do that?
So cutting with a DA, and for us, our DA is a 25 millimeter stroke. If you think of it, your pad is going around in a circle, right? We just isolate one piece of abrasive on that pad. On a rotary going 600 RPM, it's going around, let's say around 5 meters per second.
Right.
That's how fast your abrasive is going around. On a DA, that 25 millimeter stroke is actually going 9 meters per second. And your rotary, on the outside, it's going a certain speed, but on the inside, it's going slower. Same RPM, but different diameter. With the DA, the whole pad is doing that. So the pad is oscillating 25 millimeters. The whole pad is oscillating. So every little drop of abrasive is doing the exact same amount of work.
Okay.
And it's doing more work for you.
And can you finish down with a rotary better than with a DA?
Most people can.
Okay.
And it comes down to pad technology.
Okay.
It comes down to technique as well.
Okay.
If you're using, you go in and out of dealerships, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
A lot of dealerships, the people that are working there haven't had the best training in the world, or any training. And they've seen some guy, the old guy, when they walk in, okay, this is how you hold the polisher, this is how you do it. They get their 30 seconds worth of training, and he's probably putting pressure on the machine. They call it a high speed for a reason, because they're using it at high speed.
And they're putting it all the way as max speed.
Yeah, max speed, on an angle, pressure. That's a great way to get holograms. Yeah. If you want holograms, that's the way to do it.
And I see it on dealership cars all the time.
Right.
So I'm excited to let you show me how to do this. I've always wanted to learn how to do it. I've kind of perfected DA the best that I can, but rotary is just something that I need to put in my arsenal. So let's get on this.
So first thing, gentlemen, tradition on our channel, set of red gloves. First thing we want to do is start with a clean, damp pad. Not a wet pad, not a dry pad, especially not a dry pad.
Why damp?
Why damp?
Yeah.
Better lubrication.
Okay.
First of all, like the traditional polish, right? They'll take this pad, they'll put 4 or 5 drops of polish on it.
Yep. Then
they start polishing. There's only 4 or 5 areas that have lubrication. The rest of it, it's dry foam going across the paint. Not a good idea. Whether
it's like an abrasive kind of?
Yeah, whether it's a DA or a rotary. We want to slightly moisten the pad. Okay. We don't want it wet. Wet is just, going to sling everywhere. We don't like sling, you don't like sling, you don't like sling, I don't like sling. Wow. There we go. I had to prime it first. And if you like sling, leave it in the comments. I doubt there is anyone that will leave that comment, yeah. And then I'm just gonna rotate this over the pad washer, lift it up about 1/4 inch, spin it out at speed 6 till no more moisture is coming out. And now I have just a barely damp pad. It's not wet in any way, it's just damp.
Okay. And what do we have in the bucket?
Rinse and swash, 250-6-1.
Okay.
Then from there, we're gonna take our gold standard polish, and this is very different in the industry. It's a sprayable polish. Couple reasons why we have a sprayable polish. One is, if you put 3 or 4 drops on there, you only have 3 or 4 spaces that are working. Secondly, the sprayable polish gives you a better coverage over your pad, and you use a lot less product. So one pull of this trigger is 1.1 milliliters. The drops that people put on are usually about 1.5 to 1.6 milliliters, or even more. So you're using 1/4 of the polish than you normally would with this. So 2 of these bottles equals a gallon of anybody else's polish.
Wow, that's crazy.
So from there, 1 spray on the pad. Now we have a nice distribution over the pad. I have it on speed 1. It's the lowest speed the machine will go. You don't want to go any higher than speed 1. The next thing is the grip on the machine. A lot of people will do a death grip. You want the more relaxed grip you can do. You don't want to have pressure on the machine. You don't want to have pressure on yourself. have good posture. You don't want to be down here. You don't need to smell the polish. It smells like bananas. I'll tell you right now. You don't need any more than that. And
I
then,
don't do anything that I've ever done with a dual action polisher.
pardon me?
Just don't do anything I've ever done with a dual action
Okay,
polisher.
so you're the type of guy that does this?
No, but I'm just saying pressure. And,
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh, even the dual action, we don't use pressure. But, yeah. To me, if it feels like you're working, you're doing something wrong.
Okay.
You paid good money for this machine. Let it work for you.
do the work.
Yeah.
You're just trying to keep the pad as flat as possible.
Right. All we're doing is keeping the pad on the paint. So I'm using 2 fingers. I'm going over body lines. Very, very easy to control. I don't even have to look at it. It's not, you'll feel the balance. And with the rotary, if you lift up the back end, it goes one way. If you put the back end down, it goes the other way. If you try to tilt it, it'll go one way. If you tilt it the other way, it goes the other way. So once you find that point of balance,
And when it comes to a rotary type,
yeah.
when it
So-
comes to a rotary type machine, does the type of machine matter as much as say as a DA machine?
No. So rotary, 2 important numbers, below 800 RPM and above 2400 RPM. The below 800 RPM is your working speed. So up to 800 RPM, you're good. I prefer like a 400 to 600. And then your top speed, you want above 2400 RPM to spin the pattern. If it were up to me, this would be a 2-speed switch. Work, clean.
Okay.
That's it. It would cost more to have, it actually costs more to have a 2-speed switch than a variable speed. So yeah, we're sticking with that. But you saw how easy it is to control.
Yeah.
Where people make mistakes is A, not using the trigger lock. When you're holding this trigger, it effectively locks your wrist and your elbow. So now your movements become jerky and harder to control. The other is putting weight. Third is trying to hold on to it. The less you hold on to it, the easier it is to move, the easier it is to maneuver. The less you're working, the more work it's going to do.
Now, typically with a DA at least, we do a crosshatch pattern.
Yeah,
I noticed when you were doing that side earlier, kind of testing,
yeah.
you really didn't have a pattern for the most part.
It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
The crosshatch pattern is good for memory.
Okay.
So
Muscle memory.
yeah, so basically, you know you've gone left, right, up, down, left, right. I've done 3 passes. I'm good. For myself, I like going left to right.
Okay.
When I'm teaching, I always teach the crosshatch, just because, again, it's that mental cue of, oh, I've started this way. I see lines going up and down. That means I still have one more pass to do.
And it's easier to size your 2x2 section.
If you can get a microfiber towel out of the top drawer there. For someone starting, put that on the hood. No, unfolded.
Oh, unfold.
Yeah,
All the way?
yeah. For someone starting, that should be your section size.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's just an easy,
So like 18 by 18 or 16 by
an
16.
easy representation. That should be roughly what your section size is. Another thing is, don't polish wider than your shoulders. So Brian can polish 2 inches wider than you can.
Yeah.
Because once you're extending yourself, you're losing balance, it's hard to control the machine. Posture is something that a lot of people don't consider in polishing. Posture is a very important part of polishing. Have a good posture and don't be bent over and hunched over the machine. Stand up straight. The machine doesn't need your face looking at what it's doing. The machine can easily do what it needs to do without you even looking at it. And the more you look at it, and the more you try to control it, you heard the sound change. All I did was rest my hand. And that's enough to make it more difficult to control. So our polisher actually has a little divot under here to make it easier to hold with your finger.
Okay.
And that's it.
Wow.
So,
All right.
Now, when you come over this curvature here, are you angling your hands at all, or are you just using the
So,
softness of the
we use a
pad?
waffle pad. And something to show here. So I've got no polish there. Again, just 2 fingers. I'll go over this, come back up. I've polished that whole section.
But how are you hitting like right here?
The waffle is conforming to the surface.
Okay.
If you want to have a problem with the rotary, use a flat pad. A flat pad is going to pull you around everywhere. It's going to be difficult to control. And
More
to
heat
do
to
this, you're going to have to do this, hold on to the machine, go down like that, then go like that.
And I see it all the time in shops that I go into.
Yeah, well,
Tilting the machine constantly.
yeah. So easy errors with the rotary.
You would get more heat without the waffle too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the waffle creates less heat. The less heat, the better it is.
Yeah.
But errors that you see in shops is this.
And that's common.
Yeah, that's common. Again, if it feels like you're working, you're doing something wrong.
As long as I keep it flat.
As long as you keep it flat. So as an experiment, just lift up the back end a little bit
Oh yeah, it starts pulling on it.
and then drop the back end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know if you're not flat.
Once you find that equilibrium, it becomes super easy to do.
Now, how fast do I want to move the polish?
As fast or as slow as you want.
Okay.
But the slower you move, the faster you work. Because you're letting the machine do the work.
So like right there, I can feel that body line pushing against me a little bit.
Yeah.
Or either that, or I'm not pulling it up.
You just let it follow the curves.
And this is the best way to get dueling?
100%.
It's the ultimate velocity you can get.
Yeah. So people freak out about the rotary. It's going to create heat, right?
Right.
So what temperature are we at?
86 degrees.
Okay. Hold it there for a minute. Just don't move it. Are you stressed out yet?
It's not shaking me to death either.
No.
It's nice and smooth.
Yeah. But some people at this point would be stressed about the heat on the paint.
Yeah.
What's it at now?
94.
We went up 8 degrees.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So the faster you go, the more passes you have to make.
Right.
Basically.
The slower you move, the faster you work.
Because I'm not one to move slow when I'm polishing, so. But with a rotary, I guess I'm going to have to learn to keep myself.
Oh, you can go faster if you want. It's more work for you.
Yeah.
You paid for the machine, let it do the work. Now, if you feel the machine starting to get grabby, that means your pad is starting to dry up.
And that's, in lifting it up, that's such a cool trick to learn.
Yeah.
If I lift it up and immediately wants to pull one way or the other.
Right.
That's actually pretty, that way you know. See, and I've tried using the rotary at my house by myself.
Yeah.
I just could never get it smooth. I was constantly bouncing around on me.
And you probably did that with a flat
It's
pad.
a flat pad. Yeah.
Flat pad, I wake up
So
around
this is key.
Yeah, I wake up around 3:15 every morning, so I can hate flat pads a little longer every day.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's just not the best tool. You know, a flat pad is inexpensive, but it has a lot of drawbacks.
Okay.
Whereas this has no drawbacks other than, it looks funky, but they work well, they're smooth, they get into contours that you can't get in with a flat pad. So you're working
and
less.
For my viewers,
Yeah.
what is the advantage of finishing with all the advantages of finishing with this versus doing a dual action? Is it faster to finish with this, or is it just better, like as far as your finished product?
So faster and better gloss.
Okay.
And
And
Yeah.
it's smooth. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's big.
it's a lot easier on you.
Yeah. A lot
As the user. But the other thing is, people will say cutting with the DA isn't right. There's no right or wrong way to
As
detail.
long as you get to the end
Yeah.
result you want.
Right. The cutting with a DA, if we go, pad for pad, machine for machine, same thing, the DA always cuts faster.
Yeah.
The rotary feels like you're cutting faster. And on some defects, if you've got the good old school wool pad, you're going at it, yes, you might cut a little faster with the rotary. But then you're gonna have to do more steps to correct that
Yeah.
than with the DA. If you're cutting with the DA, 2 passes with that, like left, right, up, down, you're done.
Okay.
That's it. Because all the DA is left behind when we're cutting with the DA is a bit of micro marring. All you're needing to do is get rid of that micro marring. Whereas with the rotary, you have to get rid of those swirls, and some of them are deep, some of them
Yeah.
are really aggressive.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was super simple. Now, I look forward to doing it on a side panel. I don't know if
You have one right there.
hands are going to be different. Do I need to add more to this, or?
We never add more. We clean.
That's right. I'm sorry. I'll wipe up this hood really quick. Like having here in the shop. That looks great. Looks really good.
Ready for a side
Yeah,
panel.
let's try this side panel. It's not as easy to keep it flat. And I think that's why I gave up on doing it at my house, because the machine kept walking on me.
Right.
That's because I didn't realize I wasn't keeping it flat either.
No, with a flat pad, it is going to walk on you. That's just the way it is.
Yes, this makes so much more sense to me.
And the damp pad.
Yeah. The fact that the pad is damp, that it's not, grabbing the surface, and you can go right over that emblem.
Yeah, you barely even feel it.
You barely even feel it, and you've got polish all around that emblem now.
Super smooth. I like that.
You're wiping the polish off with a dry towel.
Always. I always do.
Yeah. Gonna switch it up on you.
Okay.
Start with a damp towel. And you don't need to put that much effort into it.
And damp with
Rinseless wash.
Right.
So the rinseless breaks down the polishing oils.
Okay.
And then you're not in a rush to dry it off. Let Mother Nature do a bit of the work.
Let Mother Nature do a little bit of it.
Yeah.
I already
Yeah.
did it, actually. Nice and smooth.
A lot less effort, right?
Yeah.
And you have less risk of re-scratching the panel because you're not putting any pressure on the towel.
So when I'm detailing a Tesla, less chance, because those things scratch on polish removal a lot of times.
Yeah.
Man, that looks so good. Just that little bit of work that I did. I don't think I did that, did I?
No, that was there before, trust me.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And another thing that you've probably never done before, do this,
Do the polish or the
the trim.
go ahead and use it like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is kind of different to me because I've definitely never done this. I'm just going to do a small section to see the difference.
But also, you'll notice that the pad is getting right into there.
Oh, yeah. So we're getting right up against the trim, which is almost impossible with a DA. It's just moving up and down the way it's moving.
Yeah.
Same thing, wipe off with the wet.
Yeah.
And for my viewers on my channel, the polish is perfectly fine to use on plastic,
Exactly.
texture plastic trim.
Yeah, not every polish. Our polish, yes.
Right, because normally that's, no, you turn it off the polish
Yeah,
on.
we don't use tape. Tape is a waste of time.
Right.
And you can actually get into trouble taping.
Okay.
So you can get glue
Lead
lines.
residue,
Yeah,
And I've had
exactly.
that happen to me before. It's like you fight to get that stuff off of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that worked great. I like that a lot. So Ivan, I want to say thank you so much for showing me how to use
Thank
the
you.
scary rotary that I've been told was so scary for all these years.
Oh, it's super dangerous. Yeah.
And what would you say to the average person that is scared to take the leap and use a rotary? What would you tell that person?
Try it. Two things. Don't go fast and don't use a flat pad. Those are the two biggest.
My biggest mistakes that I did.
Yeah, well, that everybody does.
Yeah.
Because flat pads are the ones you can find everywhere. Waffle pads are a little more rare, they're a little more niche,
Yep.
because manufacturers actually don't want to make a waffle pad. It costs them more to do so. That's why it's there. Also, our rotary jeweling pad, the red pad that you use, is half an inch thicker than most other pads on the market. Most pads are 3/4 of an inch. It's 1.25 inches. So you get more cushioning, and it's a very soft pad. So it's going to follow, it's going to contour, it's going to do everything you need it to do safely, easily, without any stress.
And as you guys saw when I did it, it was very smooth. I had basically 2 fingers on the machine, just like Ivan showed, very smooth. And then when I knew I wasn't flat, the machine starts walking on me. I knew I wasn't flat anymore. That kind of telltale sign you need to get the machine
Yeah.
flat. And I thought it was super easy. I don't know why all these years I've just been kind of timid about trying to use the rotary until, in fact, we were invited out here. I told him, hey, I want you to show me how to use the rotary because I've seen him do it on videos so many times. So I appreciate that so much.
Thank you.
So I want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video and checking it out. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments section. I'm sure Ivan will be in there. He can answer you guys' comments about the rotary. I appreciate you watching the video. We'll catch you in the next one.